Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Over coming to you with some more Company of Heroes 2 action. Naturally, as you can see right here, it is another 1v1 between a couple of guys we have seen every now and again. Spawning up here in the north, playing the Soviet forces in the blue trunks, it is going to be Luvnest. And his opponent down in the south, he just has to say he wuffya. So here we go, guys. He is playing the OKW. He's in the red trunks. And it appears already we're going to see ourselves a little bit of a Kubelwagen action up here on Angoville. Before we get too much further, though, of course, we're going to take a quick look at commanders. So wuffya, what do we got? Scavenge Doctrine, Fortifications, and naturally Luftwaffe ground forces. I never quite understand why there's such a massive emphasis placed upon that commander. Seeing Luvnest build out as far as possible his support up in Compania so he can get into the ashes a tiny bit quicker. Well, what's he bringing to the fray? Well, he's got guard motor coordination tactics as well as Soviet industry and partisan tactics. The fact that we haven't seen partisans already makes me kind of wonder if we will even see that at all. Why did I say Angoville? I meant Arnhem checkpoint. Wow. If I said Angoville, I'm terribly sorry, guys. Anyway, moving back onto the actual action here. We're not seeing partisans already, which makes me believe we probably won't see them too quickly in this fight. Meantime, though, we will see that cheeky kind of little bit of barbed wire placed out with Sturmpiles hopping into a garrison, and naturally, conscripts will sit there and start pelting fire into that garrison as well. Not that it'll do much, but just if nothing else, to be kind of discouraging and kind of being a little more aggressive-ish. But the Soviets will not be able to very, very quickly connect their fuel. In fact, it seems that the Germans should be able to do that before them. Though we are going to see the conscripts diving into the church, praying for a good firefight. And with wuffya's Sturmpiles not in good cover, and now in lousy cover, with absolutely none whatsoever, they lose 2 models and 60% of their health within about, what, 15 seconds? That's a pretty beastly hit. Now one lone Sturmpio dives back to base. A third Volksgrenadier squad is going to come out, though, and surprisingly enough, we do see the Soviets were able to pick up their fuel before the Germans connected theirs. I am supremely surprised by that. I had thought the way that things are setting up that the Germans would have a much easier time doing that, but it seems that the Kubelwagen was not quite microed quickly enough while the Soviets were able to decap and recap PDQ. Naturally, of course, I will see now with a Maxim machine gun in this house right here, excuse me, this church right here, the Germans are a little bit confused, it seems. My guess is we'll see a battle group headquarters, and my hope is probably an ISG to shift said MG out of this church. To the west, however, we'll see combat engineers going to try to beat these Volksgrenadiers to the house, but it seems the Volksgrenadiers are in better shape than those combat engineers, and the Soviet troops are sent packing. Eastern side of the map, though, we will see that the Germans do have a 1-0 cap. And with this Maxim bunkered up in this church, we could very easily see a control over a usually German position. And you can see right there that his munitions have been cut down by about a third. But he doesn't seem content to be too stymied by that. It seems wuffya is going to go and take out the Soviet fuel. And with his own fuel pretty easily secured, he doesn't have to worry about too much. I will say, shockingly enough, though, we're not seeing a battle group headquarters, so I'd be very surprised to see a mechanized regiment. But at this point, the fact that he's not placed out any manner of headquarters buildings makes me very, very confused. And there we go. There's finally a battle group headquarters. Finally going down. Conscripts and Sturmpiles are going to be trading some damage here, and these Sturmpiles are going to try to dive into this house. And they were unable to. Another reinforcing squad of conscripts in the way, as well as this Maxim coming from the north, the second Maxim at that. Able to put just enough fire on these Volksgrenadiers to be very, very limited in terms of their utility. But the Soviets have lost their fuel point. Germans not on their own, but in either case, it really shouldn't slow Luvnest down too much. Now we're going to see ourselves a flamethrower. So as long as this conscript squad dives away, and there he goes, and this flamethrower continues to do what it does best, which is just roast and toast the Germans as much as possible. We get super close here. Might see his squad go down. One more burst of fire. Does he get away? Yes, he does get away. That's really, really surprising. Meanwhile, to the north, yes, the Germans are able to come in and try to go and take this point back, but this Maxim is going to do a fair amount of damage. I'm surprised it hasn't pinned them just yet, and pins them just shy of bringing the fuel point under their control. So this Maxim crew loses a couple models, but sticks it out, and by doing so, pretty much continues to secure Soviet primacy for the immediate future. Wolfgang's going to go for that scavenge doctrine, which means we could see an Ostwind, which I am super excited for, and we're also going to see ourselves a tripwire mine. So, and he's just throwing them out like candy. So 10 munitions per, it's not really a bad idea, I suppose. But it's kind of funny to take a look at the current resource situations for both players and realize that there's like nothing there for either of them. Very interesting, though. Several Pomsey mines down here, definitely going to surprise any Germans that come forward. And shockingly enough... Alright, in the meantime, what we're going to see... Well, we have another Maxim over here in this eastern garrison on the checkpoint in the middle part of the field. And kind of the humorous thing in the meantime as well, we also have a Jaeger light squad up here in the north, and a Volks up here in the north. But with a flamethrower, neither one of those garrisons is going to last too much longer, I imagine. Lucky for these guys right now, they are just outside of the firing arc of that Maxim. And if that Maxim turns around, those guys are going to get pelted like crazy. Here it comes. A very, very quick suppress and a very, very quick pin. Oh no, but an incendiary grenade comes out first. So well thrown. Not quite enough to overly disturb that Maxim. But still worth writing home about, I suppose. We seem to have a very slow build-up so far, though, with the way that territories have been shifted back and forth. One burst of fire, I thought we were going to see a burst of fire that would go and pin down the Sturmpyos. But it seems the Sturmpyos are going to have a very, very bad time if these combat engineers come around, and here they come. And washing those brave, brave men in fire. Combat engineers coming around again. We're going to see Volksgrenadier squad suppressing. Oh, that's probably the worst place to go. Keep in mind, guys, if you go into a garrison building, the smaller it is, the more concentrated damage you do get from AoE weapons. A function of all the health that just melted off of those poor, poor Sturmpyos. And Wuffya's kind of getting beaten up here. Dropping models like crazy. In the north, we're going to see he's been able to go and throw a incendiary grenade on top of this machine gun crew. And yep, we do see that medics have been posted for Luvnest troops. But still, we are going to see that the Soviets control every bit of territory going to resource points all over the map. Very backwards how this works. And we're going to see a scavenge grenade assault coming on in. Finally, the Volksgrenadier is able to force back the rapacious Soviet hordes. And Jaeger Lights, in the meantime, sniping off a model or two from the retreating combat engineer. Pomsey mines are still in play. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Yeah, if they are certainly there. One of them happens right now, though. We're going to see a couple of guys do go down. Volksgrenadiers dropping a model or two. But you know what? It's not really even an early warning device. It's just sort of there to kind of slow them up and cause a couple casualties. And hideously enough, that is exactly what mines are almost best at doing. More trip mines going down about the map. And we're going to see a Tank Infantry Battalion Command coming out. Shockingly enough, there's no anti-tank grenades. Not shockingly, I suppose. I mean, the Germans aren't really teching up too fast here. And I'm kind of wondering if Wuffya is just going to play for that later Ostwind. Of course, considering the way that his fuel income has been going, it may not be so surprising that he's not teching up into a mech regiment.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Soviets, in the meantime, have controlled a fuel point. Germans, not quite yet. And the Sturmpyos are going to come over and discover that there are a couple of very nasty surprises over here. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, just outside of that. He's going to move like 2 steps, though, and get picked up. Maxim crew gets hammered by a scavenge grenade assault. And my guess, I'd be very surprised. Turn your fire. There they go. That last model goes down. But combat engineers, in the meantime, able to go and put sheets of fire onto this Kubelwagen. And the only thing keeping these guys in play is the flamethrower not turning its ire upon them. However, Volksgrenadiers in the meantime going to put themselves in negative cover. That middle of the town, it's just a terrible, terrible place to go. Zero cover, sir. With the Tank Heavy Battalion Command up, though, we're going to finally see a T-70, a super, super late T-70. And again, considering the way that the fuel has just gone back and forth, the fuel economy, I'm surprised I've even seen any light vehicles whatsoever. The 488 to 457, 10 minutes in, we're just barely getting started on this one, folks. Oh, and a very, very quick pin happening as those Sturmpires try to crawl towards that fountain and realize the folly of their plan. And very soon, there's the T-70. Where is that Rakettenwerfer? Rakettenwerfer on the western road approach. Might be a good idea for the Germans to post up a mine or two on this eastern intersection. Another Jaeger Light Squad over here in this house, trying to effectively put fire. Yep, yeah, that's right, dude. You're not going to be able to pull them off just yet. They have to go and be out of combat for a bit first. T-70 announces its presence, starting to throw rounds into that garrison. Not going to bother the Jaeger Lights overly much. However, that machine gun will definitely do so. And very, very bravely, these guys are facing the wrong direction. Jaeger Lights, in the meantime, in the western side of the map. Nope, never mind, excuse me, folks. In the center part of the map, getting cut up again by a machine gun. And we're going to see constantly this T-70 is going to be quite a brute for the foreseeable future. If for no other reason than the fact that the Kettenwerfer is very, very far behind. But despite all of that, combat engineers are forced away. In the western side, we're going to see is a fairly even fight between conscripts and Volksgrenadiers, though the greater weight of fire from the conscripts might begin to tell after a while, especially as they upgrade to green cover. But no. I don't know, it's always kind of humorous to me to watch these squad-on-squad actions. Why? Because it's like bolt-action rifles and suddenly you just see one model drop, and it's just a huge, huge amount of firepower being lost there. Maxim, in the meantime, he's got 2 stars of veterancy. He's just chilling out in this house, able to put fire onto this Jaeger Light Squad if they do anything close to actually getting out of that garrison. A third Maxim coming out on the map, and the Soviets were able to recover their lost machine gun. But a third Maxim coming out on the map, and that's a little surprising for me. Usually you're going to see a tech up, but, you know, not that's really necessarily possible at this moment. Pomsies are still out? Yep, the Pomsy mines are still in play as well, I think. Yes, there they are. And once again, just kind of a very basic battle going on so far, now that the territories are slowly reasserting themselves. I've been impressed that these Volksgrenadiers have not been going across this approach path at all. I will also note that Soviet industry seems to be Luvnest's movement here. Oh, geez. Yep, there they go. So 3 quick models going down, and that is what the Pomsy mines can do. For 10 munis per, you can guarantee a model killed. And we are going to see the Sturmpiles pull back. Ah. Combat engineers, in the meantime, are going to come around and be able with their flamethrower to just wreak havoc, and we're going to see both squads of Germans backing away. But yikes, with the Schwerpanzer headquarters up here as well, I barely even noticed that coming on in. This could be a very, very bad place for this particular bit of Soviet army to hang out. Jaeger Lights, it seems to be a very, very popular house with Jaeger Lights. It just, squad after squad just keeps appearing in there. And now I'm thinking about it, this very advanced Schwerpanzer headquarters is a brave, brave gesture. As that Ziscon comes out, we're going to see getting posted up right in this area back here and just kind of throwing rounds down range. And I imagine if it takes it out, the Germans might consider themselves very, very far behind. It'd be a good idea to be doing so. Also worth noting, we're going to see it's a trip cap for the Soviet forces. I'm wondering, is this a Maxim over here? Yes, there is. That's why the Germans have not been moving in that direction at all. So there's a Maxim in the west. There was a Maxim in the center part of the map that just slowly got moved out because of the Jaeger Lights doing some damage here. And I wonder if this last squad's going to, last model from the squad's going to get taken out. If he does, that's a bit of a loss there. Not a huge one necessarily, but still one to be sure. Jaeger, let's continue their sultry interference fire as combat engineers come into the middle part of the map. And the Germans have yet to really invest in a later game vehicle, not in the least because they decided to go with that Schwerpanzer headquarters as opposed to a lighter vehicle or holding on for that Ostwind. In the current stage of the game, I imagine an Ostwind would actually sound pretty darn good. With the Raketten to back it up and the complete lack of a later... what's the term I'm looking for here, Soviet tanks, though that's not going to be for too much longer if he decides to go that direction, we could definitely see some utility behind that light Ostwind. In the eastern part of the map, we are going to see slowly that the Soviet control of fuel on this map is going to get crushed. This single squad getting ganged up on 2-1 if nothing else, and there goes the primacy already. Jaeger lights back into this house, but there's a fresh Maxim squad up there. So the Jaegers are not going to be able to hold God's house too much longer, I don't think. And this lone Maxim machine gunner is just trying to post up and just keep away the Germans as much as possible. The 3cm anti-aircraft gun, though, nothing to sneeze at, blowing holes in the cover like crazy. Tearing apart some poor Dutch farmers, well, his house's kind of fence. Scavenger assault, grenade assault coming on in, not a whole lot being done, though. That house still in pretty good shape. And the Kubelwagen, stunningly, is still alive. With 4 kills, 17 minutes into the game. That's not going to last too much longer, though. This Maxim's going to do a fair amount of work to it. And interestingly, we see a repair station posted over in the western side of the map. A second Ziscon being made by the Soviets. Kind of understandable, all things considered. Combat engineers trying to put some fire down on top of these Jaeger lights. Should be able to do so once that rotates around. Not going to be just yet, though. On the western side, we'll see Strompiles pushing away. Pushing away those combat engineers. 105 howitzer barrage coming on in. And this thing has a very, very wide scout. You can see right there, this conscripts in the back got hammered, despite the call-in happening right over here. Kubelwagen does go down, though, at long last, between the machine gun and this very, very nasty, mean T-70. Who got the final shot? It looks like it's probably that machine gun. And the east, we continue to see just the Germans trying to push in, and the Soviets more or less doing a decent job of trying to hold them back. Of course, I do say that as the Germans finally seize a 2-1 VP advantage. About time, though, too. They are down 143 tickets, which means they have a great bit of ground to make up. And I'm kind of waiting for this puppy to come out. Mostly because the Germans could call in a P4, but that's not for another, what, 35, 40 fuel. So the KV-8 could be utilized to kind of sprint on in, burninate that, and sprint back out. Soviets are beginning to lock down the western part of the map, though. They do need to make sure they continue to control the primary sectors, i.e. from here basically over to the east, to protect both their munitions as well as to start being able to carve down in towards the fuel positions of the Germans. This T-70 in the meantime throwing rounds into this poor truck who hasn't done anything wrong. And I'm wondering if he's literally attacking ground to get rid of it or what the deal is. There he goes, he's falling down. Fantastic. I'll say Max is back into this house, but no, it's a conscript squad. Conscripts down here to the southwest as well. And these combat engineers, I'm surprised by how much utility they've been getting with that flamethrower. I really would have liked to seen a KV-8 rushed out, though, considering the way that the German army had been looking for such a long, long time. KV-8 could have been a devastating piece of equipment. Of course, holding off for the KV-2 is not a bad idea either. Just 3 more VPs to do until that big monster comes in. TM-35 mine, for some reason I thought that the shoe mine, that the silhouette was moderately misleading for about 3 seconds. And the Soviets are going to again recap the center part of the map. It is out of range of this Schwerpanzer headquarters, And these Jaegers, while excellent at long-range attack, their DPS is not enough to compel someone to retreat. And the east, in the meantime, though, we'll see Sturm Piles are going to get carved up by this Maxim. And while there's a TM-35 mine there, down here is a shoe mine. And these guys are going to hit that just a second. Just you wait. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that until they decap the position. They're going to be willing to take the losses. Never mind, Maxim behind. Oof, there is that particular mine. I said the Maxim behind was going to be enough to stave that off. And we are going to see that P4 coming out now. Remember that? Is it, oh my gosh, the J variant, I believe it is, right? Yep. So the J variant is going to have that more heavy gun barrel at the same time. And I dare say, even with that vehicle, 2 Zis guns and a T-70, as well as potential, mind you, anti-tank grenades, though they have to be researched first, I believe, as well. No, they do finally have those. Great. So, short-range grenades, as well as long-range anti-tank guns, and a T-70 to play rabbit. I don't see that P4 lasting for too long on the map. Alrighty, though. So there's that Panzer IV. He's coming to the southern side of the map, and he's got to hurry his butt up. And where are the Zis guns? Zis guns are hanging out by this repair yard, so I imagine we will see a retreat by the T-70 towards the repair yard should that become necessary. Soviets, in the meantime, push back in the center part of the map. The Jaeger Lights basically keeping wuffya in this game. I am moderately surprised by that, because Jaeger Lights have never really had particularly good luck with them. But I will say that their breed of accuracy is rather delicious. Going to come in and around on top of this Maxim, though. Going to do a fairly good number to them. And somehow, so going to put 6 guys in this shack? No, we're not going to. That'd be a very bad idea. They do not run back into that area. T-70, though, is going to come up and encourage them to back away. The P4 now is over on the eastern side, going to put rounds into this poor Maxim. He's going to back away very, very soon, or else he's going to probably buy it. But no, guys, the second that this command point comes in, we're going to see ourselves a KV-2. And yeah, now? No, because he's microing right now. There's that KV-2. And with the KV-2 coming on the field, the Germans really should be considering, you know, crying, maybe teching up, although I don't think that's going to do them a whole lot of good. But yeah, that thing is terrifying. Once again, guys, so firing positions on this bad boy. At that point, he basically becomes a giant turret. But considering how much health the KV-2 has in the first place, and how much damage it does, you can see right there. Kind of a very, very scary beast. If memory serves, back during the war, not that I was there or anything, I think there was a lot of commentary made that when Germans first encountered the KV-2, they would throw round after round into the tank, and despite the fact that it's a lousy silhouette, it couldn't be taken out. It didn't matter what happened, it could not be taken out. It took concerted fire by all the heaviest pieces of equipment the Germans had on the field to even manage to dent the armor, let alone actually taking it out of commission for good. Oof. A very, very unlucky scavenge grenade right there is going to go and do a good amount of damage, I would say, to these conscripts right here. Meantime, though, P4 is going to hustle out over here, trying to come in and around on these Maxims. Another Kettenwerfer coming out, realizing that KV-2 is a terrifying, terrifying beast. And he, of course, has seemed to have popped firing positions. I'm not going to go mobile for a little bit of time yet. Alrighty, though. And the KV-2 not quite able to see the Tormentor for his entire army. Never mind, there it goes. Round coming in, you can see right there. So damage being done to the repair station. But even if the repair station gets taken out, look how much damage has happened to this poor boy. Even the T-70's coming on in. He's feeling gutsy today, folks. And the P4 backs away, not able to deal with the kind of firepower that exists in this massive cannon. Soviets do finally lose their control over their own fuel and will return to a state of the game, which the Germans have something, the Soviets do not. And I'm kind of wondering why the KV-2 doesn't take a much more advanced position. If nothing else, maybe plopping down right on top of that point Yes, Rakettenwerfer should be able to see him, but I would also love to see rounds coming in on top of the Schwerpanzer headquarters. So I'm a little confused why we're not seeing that. And naturally, though, I do say that it's, got 5 kills, and he's going to slowly start churning his way through these garrisons, I believe. Does he have line of sight in that bad boy? I think he does. But he's going to be driving down the property values of all these houses first. Looking for and continuing to miss these Jaeger light infantry. Okay, my friend, time to target ground. Take out all the garrisons. If there's no garrisons at that point, there can be no Jaeger light squads being called in. T-70 finds out one of these Kettenwerfers over here, but is he able to do anything about it? I don't think so because of that P4. Another Soviet repair yard has been posted over here to the eastern side of the map, just barely east of the 50-yard line, let's call it. And that's a pretty good positioning for it. Just not quite in range, I would say, of the KV-2. But the KV-2 can easily retreat to it as it becomes necessary. In the west, the P4 is going to go and be a little more aggressive. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing an anti-tank grenade or something coming out of these conscripts. Heck, I'm surprised I'm not seeing the KV-2 moving way more aggressively than he is. A second P4 coming out, and I imagine once that happens, the Germans will start to feel pretty frisky. And here comes firing positions. So, targeting a tank? No. Targeting the Rakettenwerfer? That'd be just as good. And there's a dead Rakettenwerfer. Yep, there we go. So, Germans losing one of their AT guns right now, and imagine the conscripts are going to recruit. Yep, that's a good plan right there. And KV-2 continues to throw rounds into innocent buildings. Because he's a monster. I would really, really love to see him just start posting rounds over in that direction. That's not going to happen, though. We're also going to see that the Jaeger Lights have been able to booby-trap this point right here. And it's going to do a devastating amount of damage to this Maxim. But there's nobody over there to capitalize on that damage. Which is just a shame. T-70 is going to fall back to the repair yard. And this KV-2 is going to post up and begin to put rounds into the Strempayos. And they'll laugh as this Rakettenwerfer starts posting rounds into him as well. Look at 2 rounds. He's just laughing all of this off. It's incredible, the amount of health in this thing. Keep in mind, guys, there is only one of them on the map at a time, though, so these P4 are able to take it out. It's going to be another minute or so before the KV-2 is able to see a replacement. Of course, when you have anti-tank guns to back you up, though... Oh, wow. Okay, so a mine has been hit already. So TM-35 mine from before has been taken. Oof, but there goes the KV-2. Are we going to see an advance by any of these Rakettenwerfers or Zis guns or anything? Zis guns should be able to take this one out right here. Post around to the back of him? No, he makes it away. How unfortunate is that? But Luvnest can call another one in about, what, 15 seconds or so. And he's up almost 300 tickets, actually more than 300 tickets as we speak. So with a Rakettenwerfer, 2 Zis guns, and a ton of infantry that's fairly vetted up, I don't feel too confident for our Wehrmacht compatriot. And go. No, go? Okay, fine. Guess he's microing. There's that go. I was expecting to see an immediate thing, but oops. And a second repair station going up, so that T-70 has also gone down, but with the T-70 going down, with death comes new life. So, at least for everybody but the Germans continue to be languishing under this negative attention. More Jaeger Lights being called on in, but that KV-2 is in the area, so he's going to come in and around on top of these Maxims. And watch, one round's going to come in and just completely plaster that squad. Oh, never mind, he almost plastered his own guys. That was kind of embarrassing. Oh yes, I forgot about that design right there. So the turret was so big for the KV-2, they actually posted a rear mounting turret MG. I think one of the few actually extant in a tank design. Intensely interesting. A little bizarre, but intensely interesting. KV-2 comes in, though, not able to put any rounds in. There we go. Throws a round downrange and just kind of puts a warning shot. A high explosive warning shot, but one nonetheless. That frightens the Jaeger Lights back home to mama. Now, if I am this KV-2, though, I am posting... Oh, wow, there's so many repair yards going up. Okay, so there's a Rakettenwerfer in the house right here. That's a good position. There's a first Ziscon here, and where's the second one? Ah, he's backing up his brethren. And is that a third? That's a fourth. And wow, that's a fourth repair yard right there. I think Luvnest is going a little bit happy in terms of those, but at the same time, if he's got the resources to do it, might as well, right? But the P4 is just gaining continuous experience by just blowing those things up. KV2, though, not having, he's going to readjust his position so he can put rounds downrange. No, he's not going to. He's just going to back away instead. But this just comes there to kind of back up those very, very unlucky pioneers. In the east, we'll see another P4 is going to pick on another Maxim squad, and Zisguns and KV2 are sliding in and around to surprise said tank. Of course, when your vehicle is, 60 tons, it's a little hard to surprise anybody. Conscripts, in the meantime, I would think should throw a anti-tank grenade, if for no other reason. It'd just do some damage. There we go. Going to come in. Damaged engine yet again. So that engine is doubly damaged. And that KV2 should be able to get one more round in. And folks, that would be... wow. Not it. I thought that was going to be death right there, but I was wrong. Go figure. That never happens, right? And an Ostwind being called in right now. See, Wuffya's getting kind of desperate here. He has 1/9 of the tickets of his opponent. And while these Sturmpires are going to do pretty well against that poor anti-tank gun. Yikes. When rounds like that happen, there's really no concern for most of the Soviet forces. Of course, I do say that, and one of the 3 Maxims does finally get decrewed. Now, worth noting in the meantime, these repair stations, with 2 of them at the same time, this KV2 comes back up to full strength pretty darn quick. And that was a shockingly mediocre hit right there. Rear armor hits, mind you, and he still is barely losing health. Yes, sir, my friends, this is the Death Star of not quite so cheap tanks. One of the Zisguns has been decrewed. Interesting. But here comes that metal monster. And although it's not throwing rounds into him, all he really needs to do is throw 1 round at this anti-tank gun, and I imagine it should be dead in short order. No. The round falls short. The crewmen are protected by their super gutsy shields. But being bathed in flame, they will not be able to bear up under the heat for too long. Again, though, we're going to see all these repair pioneers basically sidle on over. Just watch that bar just refill super quickly. Ostwind coming in the middle part of the map, trying to put pressure on top of these conscripts as they push forward to take the center VP. Going to do pretty well against them, but of course, when your opponent's not even bothering to aim at you, it does say an awful lot. And the Germans are dropping squads right and left. Volksgrenadier squad goes down. Jaeger Light squad goes down. Though we still have a core of very vetted up infantry from the Germans. The KV2 getting repaired, what, a minute ago maybe? He had about 2/3 health. He's already back up to full health. And trust me, considering the amount of health on that beast, that's pretty darn good. Now, 1 repair station is probably going to go down. No, it's going to be traded out for conscripts instead. Although, I don't think it's going to survive too much longer. No, instead it's going to be the Rakettenwerfer taking some fire here, and that's not the best decision. P4 is going to come up to finish the job, I dare say, on repair station. No, he doesn't. He focuses on the Rakettenwerfer as well. And the Ostwind dies a bad death, sitting in full view of an anti-tank gun. Not what you want to see. With 394 to 44, the position gets more and more dire for the Germans, as we see every single day. And the Rakettenwerfer sliding back home to get a little bit more reinforcement. And I want to see, will either one of these P4s die? Will the Schwerpanzer headquarters die? Will there be any sort of late-game resurgence by the Germans? My gut says no. Alright, first round's coming on in, trying to hit this KV2, and we're going to see firing positions happening. Guy's getting hammered pretty good. Down to about half health already. And conscripts are siding on in, but those guys do not have any sort of repair capability. Damaged engine coming out from a Panzerfaust. Impaling himself on the crosshairs of the Soviet anti-tank material. We are going to see 1 P4 coming on in. Main gun destroyed, so he could have been there to deliver the coup de grace. Instead, I believe, will be the coup de grace delivered upon him. KV-2 turning around with the inexorableness of a headsman's axe.
Medium panzer lost.
And the P4 is taken out. I'm curious to see, will that be a Soviet recrewing of that? Because it'd be kind of fun to see a Soviets actually taking that piece of equipment. It'd be very, very bad luck for the Germans as well. 374 to 44. The Germans continue to hold on to 2 VPs just long enough. And come on, get inside the P4, my friends. It's there. It's just asking to be taken. Alright, so at 36 minutes, the KV-2 started to get repaired. Just keep an eye on that, my friends.
Unit ready.
A super advanced repair station being put up yet again, and as of right now, we still see that there are 2 of them that have survived their rapacious attack by the Huns. As a second Ostwind is called in, and I don't know why Luvnest is not going for the throat too much. As one of those repair yards goes down. Again, there we go. Okay, he's finally repairing it. Good. Ostwind going to do pretty darn well against the infantry, but of course, when you're a tank, even an anti-aircraft tank, you're always going to do well against infantry. I'm also surprised to see up there's, okay, so almost a minute in, and that thing is almost fully repaired. I would say about, 75% of its health. Pretty good so far. This thing can still have a damaged engine? No, it does not. And now with anti-tank guns deployed to protect those repairing combat engineers, we could see a new weapon entering the Soviet arsenal. And that's one thing I never really get to see too much. You don't get to see very often enemy vehicles being seized and retaken for, appropriated for their own use. But there we go. We are going to see a squad of conscripts diving on in. Should be interesting to see how well they are able to crew this particular vehicle, which is still suffering under the effects of... Nope, never mind. I was going to say a damaged engine, but that has been repaired at long, long last. 320 to 44, though, the Germans have continued able to churn away tickets. Excuse me. From the Soviets. Nevertheless, the Soviets don't really have a whole lot to worry about. Wuffya is desperately behind in terms of army size, having about 2/3 what his opponent has gotten. And now with 2 Muddle Monsters coming on forwards, one of them in firing positions already, and now a P4, a co-opted P4, sidling here and there and everywhere. I imagine we're going to see victory VPs being taken out. Not that one, it seems. No. But this one's going to be decapped, and that's a good way to start off. I very, very much want to see the P4s go at it. Just a little bit of a mirror match. One with a little bit of veterancy, one without, but still be kind of fun. Ostwind throwing fire in the meantime into the middle part of the town square with the P4 there to back him up. What kind of range did that puppy got? Well, not good enough to be taking shots, it seems. There we go. Finally going to be able to fire home, and one shot does bring that P4 down to 2/3 health. Intelligently, he decides to back away. Even more intelligently, the Ostwind decides to sit and defilade, starting to back up instead. So there we go. We're going to see the German stranglehold on the map finally be removed. And I believe at long last, the Soviets starting to take away tickets from the Germans. Yes, we are. A 2-to-1 cap does go out. And the Schwerpanzer headquarters, I am still so surprised that it is able to survive the entirety of the game that it has in its position. It's just horribly exposed in my mind. Another Jaeger-led squad comes out just to kind of go and be annoying. Trying to take this position right here. Suppression has gone out from the Soviets, and indeed we are going to see some damage being done. That squad getting cut in half by 1 round from the P4. But here comes the captured P4, and it's going to take a couple of rounds, I imagine, from the Germans. But he does exactly what he needs to do, which is just distract. A 3rd Raketenwerfer comes onto the field for the Germans. The second one still is in the Soviet control. And the KV-2 does what it does best. 3 guys die, 1 more round to be able to take him out, and the micro seems to be in the wrong direction. Oh my gosh. It's going everywhere but where it needs to be. And another squad of Strempiles will probably go down in this exchange. Round almost complete. No, oh my gosh, a very supremely vetted up squad of Volksgrenadiers. Do they go down? No, they're going to make it away just barely. And 4 of the 5 German squads are in full retreat. 4 of the 5 German squads, of the 5 infantry squads, are also at minimum strength as well. Main gun destroyed onto that Ostwind. I imagine he's not going to make it away. No, he doesn't. That's Zisgun delivering that final hit. But Captain Wehr, in the meantime, able to kind of side up on top of the P4 until a round from the KV-2 takes him out. Again, that guy's at 18 kills. Remember, that's a second one on the field. And forgive me, guys, for missing the death of the other P4. But, suffice to say, it was likely a Zisgun-enabled death. And that's going to be it, folks. So, wuffya falling down to the very, very domitable presence of Luvnest. It looks like 276 to 0 tickets overall. But wuffya's going to play this out at least. You know what? I respect that. It may not be, may not have gone the way he was hoping for, but at least he's going to go for it. Continue to do his thing. Short round? No. He's going to go look to take out that Rakettenwerfer with his last shot. But no, instead we're going to see that poor church with a hole blown in the side. Ending score, 276 to 0, 41-36 game overall. Well played, the Luvnest, and a very, very interesting start to this game. But that's going to be it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. As a reminder, very, very soon we're going to be starting Dawn of War 3 that comes out in about a month from the date of publication for this video. And I'm super excited to start casting games. So if you guys are looking for more kind of real-time strategy action, I'd keep an eye out for that. It may not be WW2, but it's going to have the same kind of scale, just you wait. But alright, this is Conor signing off. You all have a great day. Take it easy.